Hola amigos, hoy estamos con Gaurav de Qblox, cofundador de Qblox. Es, como sabéis, el partner, la plataforma que nos va a ofrecer, nos va a ayudar en el hackathon ofreciéndonos las GPU Virtual Machines, las máquinas virtuales con GPU para que podáis entrenar vuestros modelos. Así que nada, os dejo con él para que os cuente un poco la historia de Qblox y qué os puede, qué beneficios os puede aportar, que como ya os dije en una de las charlas que he dado, me parece una alternativa muy interesante a Colab Pro y otro tipo de plataformas, Amazon, etcétera, cuando de entrenar modelos se trata, y bueno, él nos explicará que tiene más producto. So, whenever you want, my friend.
Thank you, Manu, for the introduction. Buenos días, amigos. My Spanish, poquito a poquito. So, myself, Gaurav. I'm the co-founder and head of product at Qblox, and I would love to give you a quick introduction about what we do and how you can get the most out of our platform. So, just a quick, brief background. As a machine learning engineer, you must have one day or the other in past come across the hurdle of computing cost on cloud, which is prohibitively expensive. Using large public clouds like AWS for machine learning is not just complex but also very expensive. You end up spending thousands of dollars, and after a certain point you are cash constrained and you are not sure whether to rely on GPU servers on these clouds or not for your machine learning projects. So we would like to introduce you to Qblox, a smart and cost-efficient way to train, tune, and deploy your machine learning models. We figured out that using a distributed decentralized computing approach, we can access 50 to 80% lower cost GPU servers, which can be brought to use for commercial use cases like machine learning, model training, 3D rendering, and scientific simulations. So far, Qblox has saved more than $2 million for our customers by deploying, training, and fine tuning machine learning models for these teams. It's a self serve platform. Any machine learning developer can access our platform at scale for training, tuning, and deploying AI models. So, just a quick brief background about the founders. Uh, this venture, Qblox, was founded by me and my brother Saurabh. My brother Saurabh is a particle physicist, and around 10 years back he came across this fascinating concept of distributed computing used by research organizations like CERN, with projects like LHC at home. Now this project was allowing individuals to contribute computing from their idle laptops using using a simple software which they could download in their system. And uh, how it turned out to be a use case for us, I'll just share about that. So me, I was a computer vision researcher prior to this. While working on my computer vision models, I stumbled upon this massive problem of computing cost on for training my AI models. And when training these AI models, the cost was so massive that after a certain point I had to stop my research, and I was desperately looking for a solution. Meanwhile, I started discussing this with Saurabh, and he told me about this concept of distributed computing that was used at CERN. So, just a brief history. 2 decades ago, there were no clouds like AWS or GCP. Large organizations like CERN had to rely on large server farms and build their own server farms, which was very costly. So they asked people to donate computing from their idle laptops, because of which they were able to save massive amount of computing costs and involve a lot of people in the community to join their scientific research for the greater good. Now, because of this approach, it helped them save a lot of computing cost, and they were able to scale out to a large number of CPU servers. Now we thought, how about we bring this to the commercial space for machine learning? There are millions of idle GPU servers sitting across the world in crypto mining rigs and data centers, which have a lot of GPU servers sitting idle in their vicinity. What if we bring them to use for machine learning, model training, 3D rendering, and scientific simulation through a unified computing platform? So this was the concept that changed the game for scientific research community, and we established this approach for Qblocks as well. We partnered with thousands of data centers across the world and crypto mining farms with a lot of GPU servers idle in their vicinity, and brought them for access on our platform for three major use cases: training, fine tuning, and deployment. These are the three core areas where a lot of the GPU driven compute is required today in the industry. Today, developers rely a lot on large public clouds like AWS to rent GPUs. The cost of renting a GPU from AWS is very high, and on top of that, they need to invest in learning skills like machine learning operations to set up their GPU instances and manage them at scale. This leads to a lot of wasted time and adds a lot of frustration in the life of a developer. We figured out that there is a smart way to approach this problem. It turns out there are a lot of idle and underutilized GPUs among gamers and crypto mining rigs that can be optimized for machine learning. And here's the best part: this innovative approach of using underutilized GPUs from crypto miners, gamers, and idle data centers can lead up to 80% lower cost, as you can see in front of you. We are able to offer the same amount of GPU computing flops in a GPU server available to machine learning researchers at up to 80% lower cost, and also the setup complexity is reduced by a greater margin. So we in the beginning we also started experimenting when I was discussing, like I mentioned in the beginning, when I was discussing this idea with Saurabh. He mentioned about his experience with distributed computing. We started experimenting with crypto mining rigs, and there were some crypto mining rigs in our vicinity, and we started uh, using those GPUs for training AI models. And it turned out that I was able to bring down my cost of training a machine learning model from $2,000 to $200. But that's not all. A GPU server is not enough. You need the complete ML stack. You need all the AI frameworks like PyTorch, Docker containers, GPU drivers, CUDA libraries pre-installed with all the compatible support, they are uh, so that they are compatible with each other, and so that you don't have to deal with messing up with the GPU drivers. So at Qblocks, we provide a complete stack of GPU instances, which provide you access to all the base computing infrastructure, and on top of that, the complete software stack to help you get started with training, tuning, and deploying AI models. And we figured out that it's not just me who's facing this issue. There are machine learning professionals, data scientists, researchers, startups, businesses, and teams, and CAGLers as well, which are in need of such machine learning resources, but they cannot avail them on clouds like AWS or GCP due to the prohibitively expensive costs. And we want to solve this for the greater good of this community. So far, we have saved over $2 million in computing costs for a lot of the enterprise customers, CAGLers, scientific researchers, university researchers. So this is the brief about Qblocks, and just a little bit ahead of what we are coming up with now. So far, we have helped with our platform AI machine learning researchers get access to GPU instances for training, tuning, and deploying their machine learning models. And going forward, we have recently released a platform that offers generative AI models as a hosted service, on which you can access models like Stable Diffusion, Chat GPT alternative, which is also coming in the industry, and speech to text models like Whisper for transcription. So the idea is that we don't want to just serve the training and tuning pipeline, but we also want to offer hosted models as a service, so that you don't have to deal with complexity of setting up the machine learning models in production grade environments, where you have to scale up and scale down thousands of GPU servers at any given point of time. So this is the platform that we have come up with, and we are going to serve a lot of the applications in natural language processing domain using LLMs at scale in production environments, and offering them as a simple API. Just like any today, the models like GPT-3 are available through an API. The same way we are supporting open source models on our platform, hosted as a service, offered as an API. So this is a brief overview that we have a decentralized infrastructure which is accessing GPU servers coming from gamers, crypto miners, and data centers across the world. and making that access available through a unified platform for machine learning developers, and also offering hosted models for a lot of generative AI use cases. So that's the complete overview of Qblocks and our upcoming platform Monster API. And just would like to say thanks, and would like to give you a quick context about a brief history of how things started in the past. So in 2010, US Air Force used more than 1700 PS3 consoles to create a supercomputing cluster that was able to offer 500 teraflops worth of computing power. And it costed them only 10% of the actual cost of building a supercomputer. So you can see the massive potential in our idle devices that we are bringing to use, and we are bringing to use at scale, in a reliable way, in a secure way, and with complete machine learning stack for data scientists and machine learning developers. So there's a complete overview, and I would like to also show you a quick walkthrough of how you will be accessing your GPU servers. So maybe I can just stop this screen sharing. Maybe Manu, can you help? Okay, I'll just share my screen, I think, to give you a quick walkthrough of the platform. Okay, I hope you are able to see my screen. So this is a quick walkthrough of Qblocks dashboard. As a machine learning developer, we wanted to reduce the complexity of accessing GPU servers and also the cost of GPU servers. So we have provided a simple interface that through which you can deploy GPU instances at scale. Uh, in your dashboard, you get to see two types of nodes: consumer nodes and data center nodes. And in data center nodes, you can see a ton of options: A6000, 5000s, A100s, V100s, A5000, RTX 4000. So the idea is this: because we have tied up with so many compute providers across the world, we are able to bring access to a lot of optionality and a lot of scalability on demand on our platform. And the typical cost, a typical Tesla V100 GPU instance on a cloud like AWS would cost you around $3.3 to $3.5, including egress cost and other SageMaker type of services. We offer, you can see the cost over here is 50% low out of the box. And you get everything pre-configured in your instance. You get base Ubuntu, you get Jupyter Lab access, you get TensorFlow, PyTorch, all the compatible GPU drivers out of the box, ready to use for your machine learning workloads. And once you are in, when you can launch this instance, we have designed an orchestrator which will figure out which node can serve this request in real time. So I have two active instances already present in my dashboard, and when I click on connect, I get the option of accessing my GPU server through Jupyter Lab or through SSH. You can download your key and copy your password if you would like to access through terminal. But as a machine learning engineer, we are pretty accustomed to Jupyter Lab. So I'll simply head over to the Jupyter Lab environment in my browser. And this gives you a browser-based experience so that you don't have to set up anything in your GPU instances. So these are some of my previous testings happening in my environment. If I would like to see, does it have the required GPUs? It had a RTX A6000 GPU, 48 GB, and I can see that available in my instance. I don't have to run any GPU driver command installation, any CUDA stack installation. I get everything pre-configured and ready to use out of the box. I have support for running Docker containers as well. And you can imagine this is running on a node coming from on our network of decentralized computing. So in a way, you are accessing a GPU server coming from maybe a crypto miner's rig or a gamer system or a data center, while you access it just like you would have done on any other cloud. A simple and straightforward experience. So this is how you will be accessing your instance through the active instances. And you can also share your access with your team members. So over here in your settings, you will have to come to IAM policy and share that access with your team members, so everybody in your team can access the same GPU server when you will be participating in the hackathon. I would love to answer any questions, and I would also be sharing a set of steps that you can follow to share the access with your team members for your GPU instances. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if there's anything that I can help with, or if I can answer. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Nice talk, nice workshop. I expect people to know how to work with Qblocks. And yes, thank you for your time, and see you next time.
Absolutely. Please let me know how I can help with any questions that the members may have. I would be happy to answer them.
Ok, si tenéis alguna duda o alguna pregunta, él dice que estará encantado en solucionárnosla. Creo que ya está en Discord con nosotros. O sea que, bueno, muchas gracias y bueno, y seguimos para adelante. Adiós. Bye, bye.
Thank you.